Hello and welcome again to Casual Magic. It's time for the summer 2017 workplace draft results. I'll just go ahead and get right into the cards that I drafted. Took Scribe of the Mindful, really just to get instant and sorcery card back. Aerial Guide and Zenith Seeker really are for getting creatures flying until end of turn. River Servant just for something big later on. River Hoopo, this thing is a workhorse. I probably ended up getting 12 or 14 life out of this thing. I saw it used against me to great fashion, and sure enough, this was kind of the same way where I was taking 4 damage a turn, and I didn't care because I would just spend 10 mana and gain 4 life and draw 2 cards. This is a very, very good card, especially for an uncommon. I love it. I think it really, really does its job well. Feral Prowler just to get card draw, mana ramp, mana ramp, mana ramp, mana ramp. Ramming up Hydra just basically to get a decent sized body out there, and I did have some deserts, so that way I could at least get it to a 4/4. And then as far as big bodies later on, 2 Rampaging Hippos, and a couple of Sifter Worms, including a foil one. Pretty. I think it's only worth like 20 cents or something. Unquenchable Thirst, just to make sure that something doesn't untap. Riddle form, that way at least when I'm casting non-creature spells, then I could get a 3/3 Sphinx until end of turn with flying. The main thing, at least later on, the Scry thing was kind of nice. For a little bit of control, Unsummon, definitely got some use out of that. Censor, it's okay early on. It's not as good as the other one where it's a counter spell and then you have to pay X based on the number of cards in your graveyard. That one's a much stronger one. Failure, I did get a little bit of use out of this. It's, just one of those cards that was passed my way, and I just thought, okay, well, I'll sure go ahead and take it. Kefnet's Last Word, this is actually the first card that I opened. I was like, oh, gain control of something? Yeah, absolutely. And the funniest thing about that was the opponent in my second round, he was doing green-white. He had the cat creature that if you spend 1 and exert it, or tap it and exert it, then it creates 2/1/1 cat tokens with lifelink, and then its power and toughness are based on the number of cats. And the funny thing about that was, I was like, okay, I can't leave that thing around. So I used Kefnet's Last Word, took control of it, and he's like, oh, well, it's a good thing you're not playing white. Oh, wait. Which one? Oasis Ritualist. Tap, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. So, yeah, surprise. Next turn I started making cat tokens. So, that was really fun. Beneath Sands to get lands, because again, it's kind of the end condition of this is just ramping up to giant stuff. So, I was totally okay with just hanging out for a while, getting the lands I needed to get higher up. Spring, which is basically exactly Beneath Sands, just without cycling. And then Mine to draw 2 cards. Ambuscade, it's a wonderful combat trick, especially for something that's locked down where you can't tap it, but at least you can still use its power to do damage to another creature. And then my Deserts and Islands. So the first game that I played, I went up against someone who is a very, very good player at work. And he had a green-red exert and combat trick deck. Somehow I lucked out beating him 2-1. And he said he thinks that was like the first time that anyone from work actually beat him in one of our draft events after, I don't even know how many we've had now, like 6 or 7. I've lost track. So, huge accomplishment. Second guy, he was green-white, didn't necessarily go that fast. I had enough that at least once I got my big creatures out, I could just punch through his few zombies that he had out or larger defenders, and no problem. And then finally the third guy, he has won it a couple of times before, and he won it again because he smoked me 2-0, and all my power cards, like anything that I needed to get, like the Kefnet's Last Word in order to gain control of something, no, of course not. And he had a couple of Sphinxes. This one's weak against flyers because I don't have that many flyers. I didn't have enough open mana to counter spells because I was trying to be a bit too aggressive. I couldn't get enough of my mana ramp guys to get into any of my big creatures, and even when I did, then he's hanging out with Death Touch guys, and he didn't care because he could take a bunch of damage by that point, and it was pretty much a lost cause. It was fun. I mean, it was back and forth, and it was just basically each of us drawing and me scrying in an attempt to try and find the answer. But as it turned out, he's the one who drew into what he needed first, and he won. So, oh well. Separately, real quick, I'll just show you the other things I had. Proven Combatants, Eternal of Harsh Truths. I mean, it was nice for card draw, but I didn't use it. Rakudu, Bitterblade Warrior. It's nice to get a Death Touch, but didn't use it. This one I didn't really want to force my opponent to attack at any point, so I just thought, well, I'll think about it in case of certain strategy, or maybe it's just a bunch of little tiny creatures, just like a big token deck. But in the end, I never sideboarded it in. Jace's Defeat, I probably should have thrown in during that last game, but I think I forgot about it by that point. That was definitely a mistake. And then beyond that, 3 red cards. Other than that, everything that was handed to me was blue or green. It was a very, very good draft for me. Very powerful. So I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. I wish I could have won for the first time ever, but oh well. Now, as far as participation went, yay, those are my packs. And because I came in 4th place, I got additional prize support from the store, which, to be honest, this is now my 5th Hour of Devastation draft. I already have a Nicol Bolas. I'm kind of Hour of Devastation out for a little while. So I thought, well, yeah, I'll just take some Eldritch Moon. I still don't have a Lily from that set, and yeah, it's all right. I'm not too keen on any of the Hour of Devastation invocations. So, sure, Eldritch Moon. Besides, I want to complete the Eldritch Moon set at some point. So, yeah, why not? It'll be fun. So, everything that you see here, everything that I drafted, all my prize packs, all paid for by our Works Activities Committee. So I highly encourage you, any of you who have any sort of activities committee to help foster good relations among employees, whether that sponsors something like a softball league or a bowling team, anything like that. If you can go to that type of group and make a proposal for any sort of magic event and show that you have a community and that you would like to expand that community, and it's something that some of your employees are interested in, I highly recommend starting one. And I'll probably say this every single quarter that this happens, but I highly recommend that you do it because it's a lot of fun. It's not only good for some of the people that you regularly see, but it's also a nice icebreaker for people that you haven't met before. There might be new people who just happened to see the poster at work and showed up, or other people who are working in another department on the other side of the building and you kind of never see, but now that you've played Magic with them, now you might recognize them in the hallway and actually stop and say hi and chat for a little bit. So it definitely does have its advantages. So I'm not sure if anyone else has ever done anything like that. If you have, let me know in the comments. I'm kind of curious. And as far as opening these packs, yeah, I'll get around to that in soon. I guess it'll probably be a few upcoming videos. I have to finish editing some of the giant storage locker thing. That's a whole side project unto itself, but I'll get to these fairly soon and get these things posted. So that's it for now, and until next time, good luck.